Once again, go to realnewsmichiana.com, subscribe. It's $9 a month. That's how you support Real News. And that's how I'm able to continue to do what I'm doing. So please, 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 open your wallets for 30 cents a day and help us continue to expose everything that the legacy media will not.
And smash that like button, share this video, comment below, and let me know if you disagree, because I love arguing with trolls. Getting into things. Middle school vice principal posts pics of kids throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, Ben, how about that? No surprise.
Oh, man.
No surprise here. So this,
now, Clifton, before we get into this, do you think there's any chance that she knew they were gang signs, or she's that much, or like
100% she knew that they were, and 100% she knew that they were gang signs. So this vice principal, her name is Carlisha Gadsden. She's a vice principal of Navarre Middle School. Posted a ton of pictures on her Facebook page of the from a week ago today, of the 8th grade graduation from Navarre Middle School. Kids just throwing up signs, right? Now, by the way, I've covered gangs, a bit of a gang expert, right? I've covered gangs for a dozen years. That part of our community where Navarre is very well known. It's Latin King territory. It's Vice Lord territory. And so those gang signs are just, any educator in that area is going to know exactly what those are, right? So there's the crown sign that one girl is throwing. That's a well-known Latin King sign. It's a 5-point crown, the 5 points of the nation, because it's one of those nation gangs. Vice Lords, once again, a nation. So Vice Lords and the Kings both use what's called a Crip Killer sign. And so another child is using the Crip Killer sign in these videos, and they're not hiding it, right? In these pictures and videos, they are repping their gangs. Crip Killer sign used by Latin Kings, used by Vice Lords. Very, very common gang sign. And it essentially means, hey, listen, I kill people from other gangs. In light of what's in national news right now with school shooting, I think you would be pretty hyper vigilant of that kind of thing going on within your schools.
Nice way to protect your schools, by the way. Way to keep kids safe. That is awesome. I mean, supporting gang activity, I can't think of a clearer way. Keep your kids safe.
This is nothing new in South Bend, right? So Jackson Middle School, I did an investigation last year on Jackson Middle School, where a high-ranking member of the Latin Kings, a guy by the name of Eli Cantu, was hired by the principal, who knows all about this individual, right? The school district knew all about this individual. He is what's called a nation man with the Latin Kings, okay? He takes all of his orders directly from the head leadership in Chicago, Lord Gino and Baby King. His whole job is to infiltrate, to be like the PR arm of the Latin Kings, right? And to infiltrate different community organizations, politics, police department, sometimes, right? Some of these guys infiltrate police departments all across the country. He infiltrated a middle school as the in-school suspension teacher, having all of the naughty kids come straight to him for recruitment. Okay. This is very, very common. You have all of these you have a lot of public officials who are actually involved in these gangs, who support these gangs or are members themselves. South Bend Schools seems to be a cesspool of this. Almost every single shooting within our community involves one of the nation gangs, typically the Latin Kings.
So basically what you're saying is the gangs are running our schools in South Bend.
The gangs are running our schools. The gangs are running our schools in South Bend. Now, on top of that, so the Navarre Middle School is a part of the South Bend Empowerment Zone, that little group of failing schools that was pulled away from South Bend schools, and to kind of run themselves. There are 5 or 6 schools involved in that, a bunch of elementary schools all feeding into Navarre. And the CEO, who's like the superintendent of the empowerment zone, her name is Cheryl Camacho, actually kicked a police officer out of a school who was there doing a walkthrough the day after a school shooting threat. They hate police. She is vocal about hating police. Other administrators there, Regina Williams Preston, also hates police. She is.
Hold up, Cliff, and I'm going to play that video real quick of the cop getting kicked out of the school. So here we go. Here's the video.
Probably have a conversation, me and your chief, just to understand what exactly.
Ma'am, I don't make policy. I don't make policy.
Right, that's why I said I need to have a conversation with
but
your
if,
chief.
if you're not going to hurt my feelings, if you don't want me walking through your school, I won't come through your school.
Yeah, I think for now, let's hold until I have the conversation with the chief.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your name is?
Cheryl Camacho, Dr. Camacho.
Doctor. Okay.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you
okay,
so much.
just so we're clear, you don't want me through your school.
Not until I have a conversation with the chief about what the focus will be.
Okay.
Okay. But thank you.
We're the good guys. Trust me.
I know you are, and I appreciate that.
All right. Well, listen. Have a good morning. Okay.
You too. Take care.
All right, and I'll pass it along that we're not to come in here. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Miss Chief, can I stop you for a minute?
There's some Dr. Camacho or whatever who's going to call the chief's office, and that they do not want police inside their building. They do not feel safe, and they need more dialogue until the police are welcome inside the school.
Okay, I'm clear. I'll pass that on to the captain.
Please feel free to watch my body camera. It was on the whole time. You'll be disgusted.
So another person who's involved, Regina, I think it's Preston Williams or Williams Preston. She's a part of BLM. She has been one of the largest voices and the biggest push to remove all police officers from South Bend schools, claiming that they're committing violence against students. These people are insane. They're crazy. They don't care about your children at all. They don't care about your children at all. They care more about these violent gangs. And by the way, the Latin Kings make most of their money off of drug trafficking and human trafficking. So, I mean, legitimate trafficking of young girls and women in a prostitution ring, which actually is a major problem here in the South Bend, Mishawaka area.
What a bunch of absolute scumbags. So let's back up a little bit. So doesn't that kind of make it where all the COVID protocols they made? Doesn't that kind of seem moot when you got gangs running the school? You have gangs running the school, but you're worried about COVID masks. You're worried about ventilation. Bro, you got gangs running the school.
Yep.
And you're worried about COVID.
Yep.
COVID. Yeah. Like that, when you take a step back, doesn't that just make the entire last 2 years seem silly? Silly.
Yeah.
Don't worry about first world problems.
Yeah.
Don't worry about COVID. You got gangs running your school.
We even have Latin King sections in parts of Europe, man. Like, it is one of the largest and most organized gangs in the entire world. It is an international organization. There are, like in prisons, for instance, there was one instance where a gentleman was, he made a bad move against the Kings, was chopped up and fed to the population. He was chopped up and fed to the population within the other members who cooked him up into chili in the kitchen at the prison. So, that is the type of people who are running South Bend schools.
As always, stay informed, folks.